buy that for $1.
Hey everybody, Panetta Sexy Time here, your Dollar King. I'd buy that for $1. Welcome to another edition of your favorite podcast, the Dollar King Wrestling Podcast. And here, who are we with today? Mr. Dong Skipper.
Hey, it's me, the D-O-N-G. Dong Skipper has arrived. The man that loves strippers, the notoriously bad tipper, Dong Skipper. And I'm also here with...
Jim Prendy. Rock Hard is here. For all you ladies and your entertainment needs, I'm right here. On a serious note, just want to say... about fantastic of that shooting, and our thoughts were with them. Hopefully we can entertain you for about 40 minutes to an hour and get your mind off it.
This is Jacob Kincaid, also known as the wholesome one, Andy Morton. The wholesome one, Andy Morton. And I'm here to give my insight on wrestling, even though I haven't, I've seen clips on Snap. I don't watch Raw fully or SmackDown. Occasionally, but not too much. But I still know what's going on.
All right, well, speaking of what I got going on, I'm drinking the Broken Skull IPA.
Oh,
This
there
is
we
the real
go.
boy, not that American lager bullshit. This is the 6.7% alcohol by volume. Whole can of whoop ass right here.
6.7? Okay, I thought
6.7.
Apparently he makes multiple kinds of beers.
Coke.
how's
Solid
it?
stuff.
How's the taste?
I'm not much of an IPA guy. Sorry, go ahead.
How's the taste?
It tastes like an IPA, which I'm not a huge fan of. It does taste strong. I'm sure it's got hops. I just might be too trashy to appreciate it, But, it's solid. I'm going to drink it. I'm sure I'll get a good buzz.
Nice.
But the first thing I was hoping to talk about, every podcast I notice, we always talk about Degeneration X, but we never seem to talk anything about Chyna. Hardly ever. The ninth wonder of the world. Jake, what are some of your first memories or immediate thoughts about Chyna? Rest in peace.
My biggest memory of Chyna, actually of any women wrestler, is when she won the Intercontinental Championship. I thought, even as a kid, I thought, she's so good she can hang with the men. She deserves a men title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, my favorite female wrestler of all time. I'm a diehard ECW guy. Is Jazz. Jazz used to fight the men, and I remember meeting her when I was 7 years old with my brother. I was 8. My brother was 1.5. And she was, she thought my brother was so cute, and she was holding him and kissing him and everything. She was the nicest person. So I always look up to her as my favorite female wrestler, because I think that was the best experience as a kid,
But not so much Chyna. What do you think? Chyna was an important member of Degeneration X, or not so much?
I think Chyna might be the greatest women wrestler of all time, other than Charlotte. Really, if you really think about it, who really gives a shit? There's not really any good women wrestlers except for Charlotte, really, and Becky. Other than that, and Bianca Belair, she's pretty good too. But other than those three, and Bayley too. But other than those four, I'm not really convinced on and the women's division. I don't find it. I just don't find women that look sexy entertaining fighting.
All right, well, speak for yourself. What do you think, Jim? Do you agree with that?
Not at all. There's a ton of great women wrestlers right now. Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, the names he mentioned. Chyna wasn't really a good wrestler. She was a good character. And I think being with DX, made her a big thing. But from things I heard and read, she was not well received as far as an in-ring person.
Her Ron Jeremy video is awesome. I loved it.
But as far as like her with DX, I thought she was an integral part of DX, and that was a great addition. When they brought her in, a lot of the things that pop out when I first think about it would be mostly the promo stuff when she's holding like the big sausage, and they're doing the innuendos, the big cannon, and
fucking
and it was just cool how they had a woman be an enforcer, and not that she wasn't big and strong, but just that you believed that she was like a real freaking badass that could kick these dudes' asses. And it was cool when she won the Intercontinental title. But, I dug it. I liked her indeed.
So I'm the opposite of you guys. I hate intergender wrestling. Yeah, like I thought Chyna was at her best when she just was the enforcer. It was groundbreaking. If it was like just against the cruiserweight division, I wouldn't mind intergender wrestling. I can believe Chyna beating Ultimo Dragon and Rey Mysterio, but I hated it when she beat Jeff Jarrett. It just took away from the Intercontinental title was such a powerful belt at that point too, and but Chyna winning it just.
But that because Jeff Jarrett was getting fired, so he wanted to embarrass them in the most humiliating way by him losing to a female.
I thought it was believable though. I thought she was believable to be actually maybe not beat like the Undertaker or anything like that, but I mean Jeff Jarrett wasn't some big. I mean he's good and good character and all, but I thought it was believable that Chyna could beat him as far as in the WWE universe, like they built her character to believe that she would be able to do that.
In their universe, in their bubble, yes, but it just set a bad precedent for female wrestling as the future went forward. Because then you can make because it's already predetermined. You can make any character beat anybody at that point. You got to keep the mystique, Once a woman beats a guy, especially like a heavyweight man, it just ruins the mystique for me.
But I never thought any other female ever that I thought was even close to being believable to be able to do that.
Well, it happens all the time now, and they did it for a while too. I think even like Jacqueline beat men for titles.
And I don't agree with that. It's not believable. But
Chyna just set a bad precedent for that. And Tess Blanchard beat Brian Cage for the title on Impact too. It's just like I love Tess. She's a great wrestler. I totally disagree with Jake on that too. I think there's a ton of great women wrestlers now. Rhea Ripley, Rhea Ripley's awesome too.
Good.
Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, Serena Deeb, even like Asuka is awesome.
I think the problem is they're not building their characters. They're awesome wrestling, and there's only a few like women characters who stand out. I don't think they're developing their characters enough, and that's why.
100%, Jane. They don't get the TV time to be able to develop their characters. Like, who are these people besides just good wrestlers? Most of them too. Toni Storm is a great wrestler.
I grew up on women's wrestling when they didn't push Shayna Baszler. So.
Oh yeah, it's another one that if she had a personality too, like she could beat anybody in real life. Well, not.
I mean, she had great mic skills when she was like about to beat Becky Lynch for the title, and then they fucked that up. And then it's like Bray Wyatt. They ruined him. They ruined her.
Yeah.
And, they ruined their fan base. Yeah,
Jake, in my opinion, wrestling companies need to go with the hot hand and stop sticking to their plan so much. Whoever the fans like loving or hating, pull the trigger right away.
Well, I'll tell you what I love that doesn't seem to happen anymore, and you never see chicks doing it. I feel like there's no more like first blood matches, and those were some of like the best matches in my opinion. You can really add a lot more psychology. Like Kev, like what are some of like your favorite first blood matches, and what do you think the future of them are?
I think the future of first blood matches is all GCW and AEW. I think it's done forever in WWE. Obviously, the Stone Cold versus Kane one, that was one of the first ever. That was a classic one too. And I think King cut his arm originally too and was bleeding, but he was supposed to win the match, so they pretended it didn't happen too, which you have to worry about that in first blood matches. But that was like my favorite just because like Kane won the title off of Stone Cold. No one beat Stone Cold at that time too. But speaking of blood matches too, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker wasn't a first blood match, but they were two women that got really bloody in a match too, and it was awesome. I'm glad they let women actually do that. It's one of the best female matches I saw in a long time.
That was wild. I gotta check that out. How about you, Jim? What's your opinion on first blood matches, and what are some of your favorites?
Well, definitely the Stone Cold and Kane one was good. Stone Cold had one with the Undertaker too. That was really good. I think that they're awesome in a special occasion, and they probably should have more of that. There's not enough of those kinds of matches, but I don't think WWE will go there ever again. Like, I think that's AEW will do it, and other organizations, because of the business model that they're trying to create. They don't want the blood, and that's part of it. Maybe it'll change when Vince is no longer running it, if he doesn't sell it or whatever. But I think they've always been good matches, and keep you on the edge of your seat, and it's something different.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. But what about you, Jake? Any fond memories of first blood matches?
The bloodiest match I've ever seen, I saw this live. It was in CZW. It was when Samoa Joe was young and coming up. It was Samoa Joe versus Necro Butcher. And I've never seen I have never seen that much violence in my life. This dude gave him what's that the front Taz suplex. And he dropped him on his head cracked open, and this dude is just elbowing the shit out of him, giving him back kicks, and he's just eating them, and like, he's punching, he's squaring up with Samoa Joe, throwing haymakers and shit, busting his face up, got thrown into the stands, into the chairs, there was barbed wire, that shit was fucking nuts.
Oh, $20. It sounds wild. And
was that a first blood match or just
that's kind of what I mean? Like,
CZW and ECW are all blood matches.
Before we change subjects at all, too, I want to give a shout out to Matt Cardona at an awesome hardcore death match against Nick Gage. He's Zack Ryder. If you guys don't know who he is, amazing. One of the bloodiest matches I've seen in a while too. It was awesome, and Matt. Zack Ryder definitely earned his place in the independent wrestling community right there, too. He showed he's not just a pretty boy, the woo, woo, woo. It was an awesome match. Check it out, guys.
I saw it. Yeah, that was a really good one. And I definitely agree. Like, you don't need blood to tell a good story in the ring, but certain matches, it just does add to it. I mean, that's for sure. It's a cherry on top. But speaking of, like, bloodbaths, I did want to talk about the Brood for a little bit. Like, it's kind of where Edge and Christian first started. I thought they had one of the best entrances, personally, that fire coming up and they came through the fire. What did you guys think about them? And then, of course, they went on to go with the Ministry.
I thought the Ministry should have stayed a thing forever. I don't know why, but when I first started watching wrestling, I loved heel Undertaker. I loved his music. I loved the entrances for the Ministry. He had Midian, Viscera, JBL, Farouk, fucking.
Especially the Brood came, Edge, Christian, and Gangrel.
So if you think about it, I mean, Edge was a world champion, Christian was a world champion, JBL was a world champion. Hell, Farouk was a world champion in WC. So there's five world champions in that stable. Faction, what the hell you want to call it.
And the Undertaker himself was a champion.
Well, that's the fifth I'm counting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love they really jumped the shark when they became the corporate Ministry, because then you're throwing like The Rock and Vince McMahon and Pat Patterson into the mix,
I never liked The Rock as a heel. He was never a good heel. Neither was Stone Cold. You didn't want him to be heel. I think that's why John Cena never became heel again, because like he would be booed even more if he like just turned heel, I think, right now. Or in the last 10 years.
Well,
When
but John Cena, his merch sales never dropped. If he started like losing sale money, he might have went heel, and that would reinvigorate his sales a little bit. I think. Like when Hulk Hogan did it, he was starting to go on the decline. So then when he turned heel, it like reinvigorated him, and then like people started buying like the NWO stuff. You know, I think that's why John Cena never made the switch.
I agree though. It's Stone Cold. Like that was probably the wrong decision for him to go heel and be with Vince. Even though I still liked it and he did a lot of funny shit during that time, I thought that kind of took his momentum where it was and, you know, changed it. I don't know why he made that decision, but
I don't know.
Real quick, Jake, I have a question for you.
What?
So when Stone Cold was a face feuding with The Rock, you didn't like Rock as a heel then? I felt that was when Rock was at his best, feuding against Stone Cold as a heel.
Rock was a great heel.
No,
Yeah.
I always root for. I guess they were good. Like as a kid, you know, like you just really hate the heel and you can't even appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
But like as you get like, I never liked anybody who hid it behind Vince. That's why I thought Triple H is a great heel, because you know he always hid behind Vince. You know, every single match every title he won, Vince pretty much interfered. You know, up until he was pretty much on his own. You know, fighting like Sheamus and.
What about when The Rock was in the Nation when he first turned heel? I thought that was really good. I thought he was great.
I am too young to remember. I didn't watch wrestling back then.
Yeah, I thought, well, to me, he, like, the Nation was okay, but then when he was in it and turned, like, he stood out, like, right away.
Absolutely.
Like, in that.
Jake, it was
faction.
so cool experiencing his growth. He was like a loser, you hated him. Like a die Rocky guy, but he was boring. He was like Roman Reigns, but worse. When everyone hated Roman Reigns, they were pushing him down your throat. And then he just clicked one day, and he was an awesome, wisecracking, badass bad guy. And you're like, wow, this guy's really good.
That's ECW. This is what happened, right? So, fucking right before WWE, you know, was looking into sign Stone Cold, he was in ECW.
Yep.
Him and Sandman were in a match, right? Sandman comes to you know his best entrance in the history of wrestling. Enters Sandman, chugging a beer with a cigarette in his mouth. Stone Cold, you know, they're fighting back and forth, you know, throwing jabs and shit. And then fucking Stone Cold's like, fuck it, give me a beer.
All right. Well, speaking of dropping the ball, we're going a little off track. I know you said you wish the Ministry was still around. We kind of have that right now. Have you seen the new faction, Judgment Day? It's Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley.
That's a badass entrance they have.
Yeah, and then obviously Edge was in the Ministry, so it really feels right. You said you like the entrance, Jim. What do you think of them as a whole?
I think this kind of fits him, like a dark kind of thing. He sounded good on the mic this past week.
I just watched too. The Rise. Yeah,
that was really good. I thought his promo was really good. And then I really like the addition of Rhea Ripley. I thought she fits perfectly. And I hope they don't make it like the Ministry where they put too many people in it. Maybe like one or two more, but I wouldn't go more than that. And maybe another girl. And my suggestion would be, who do you think I'm going to say would fit?
For a girl in there?
Yeah.
Joe Alexa Bliss, right?
No, I wasn't thinking her. I was thinking of
Shayna Baszler?
Yeah, Shayna Baszler.
Oh, okay.
That'd be awesome. Her and Rhea would be a dominant, badass tag team.
Well, what do you think of the Judgment Day as a whole, Kev?
I love the Judgment Day. I know people, AEW stands, like, were saying they were a rip-off of House of Black. They're a totally different stable. Just because you wear all black doesn't mean you're the same exact thing. You're dark and black. And anyway, Edge did it first. He did it with the Ministry of Darkness, and he did it with the Brood, like we were talking about earlier. It's definitely like totally different thing. And if Edge wants to have a similar gimmick, Edge is like wrestling royalty. He can do what he wants. I think Finn Balor would be a good fit as another guy too, but him and AJ Styles were in the World Cup in Japan, and I kind of like them tagging with each other right now. It's kind of like a shout out to the Smart fans. So like that's the only reason why I don't want to see Finn make the jump over there. I would like to see maybe another girl, like Jim said too, but then Rhea wouldn't be able to go for the world title; they'd be going for the tag belts. So if you're bringing another girl, I would want to bring in two, have a tag team and a female, but I think that might be too much. So maybe just another guy, so you can have Edge go for the world title, and then Damian Priest and someone else as a tag team. I think that would be enough. Then
How about he's not doing nothing?
Who?
Mace.
Mace? Oh no, he's teaming with LA Knight now.
What?
LA Knight and Mace they're the modeling agency now. LA Knight's his manager.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I think is cool about Edge? We were kind of talking about this earlier. Like certain like legends, I feel like they can never be like a heel again. Like Stone Cold can never really be a heel again. The Undertaker can never really be a heel again. But Edge still is, and he's doing it very well. Like, what do you guys think? Like, kind of separates that? Like, I don't know. It seems like he's really breaking the mold. I like what he's doing a lot personally.
In AEW too, him and Jericho are both doing it. They're just that good at what they do. Maybe it's because they both have a little acting experience. They took acting lessons, and they have improv skills too. They're both pulling it off tremendously, and not many people can at that level.
Gotcha. And to go back, I know we were talking about Stone Cold. I only feel like it's right to ask about it because I'm drinking his beer. What was the best Stone Cold beer celebration of all time? Whether it ended with someone getting stunned or whatever.
I think it was.
Jim, go ahead.
I think hands down. You mean like just the beer in general, or like after he wins or whatever?
Just anyway. Just Stone Cold drinking beer. What was like the fondest, like the best beer moment?
I thought the beer truck was
that's fair,
yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I like when he fucks with Byron Saxton all the time now. I think it's great. Byron's like too nerdy. You don't deserve a beer. Just fuck him up.
I always like the good old classic Rock oversell anytime they'd have a beer together.
Yeah, The Rock was great at taking it.
Scott Hall and The Rock definitely took it the best, and Vince the worst.
And tell you what, too, Jake was talking about some crazy match he saw with a bunch of weapons. I was curious, what's your guys' favorite non-traditional weapon? What I mean by that, like not a steel chair, not a table, not a ladder. Like what's your favorite kind of oddball weapon to see in a wrestling match?
Barbed wire.
Fair answer. Just straight barbed wire, or like barbed wire wrapped in like a 2x4 or what?
A barbed wire table wrapped in a fluorescent light tube table wrapped in barbed wire.
Okay, that's pretty detailed, but yeah, I wouldn't want to take that bump.
CZW is fucking nuts. I saw Nick Gage do a dragon driver off of the bleacher to Sick Nick Mondo at like 10 feet away from me. I was like 12. It was nuts. I love Mahoney.
Jake, I love the barbed wire, but I hate it when it doesn't cut the people. I hate it when it's fake barbed wire. Don't use it if you're not going to take the blood, you know? And I hate the pizza cutter, too. It looks too fake.
Yeah, that's too kooky.
Yeah, if you're really going to do it, do it. But if you're not, just get it out there. Don't make it look too fake.
The thing that always gets me is the thumbtacks. When they
like you like them or don't like them?
No, like I like them, but like like it's just seeing them laying on, and then you see someone about to get body slammed on it. You're like, oh, that's kind of hurt. I don't know. I just thought it brings it to a different.
I like the thumbtacks. I like the thumbtacks, Jim, but I hate the psychology behind it. Like, who would get in a real fight and be like, "I'm gonna stab you with 20,000 thumbtacks"? Ooh.
Yeah, you're right, but I guess if you look at it like that way.
Yeah, like when you're watching, you're like, oh, you know, you feel the pain, but like if you're like planning a match, like why in the hell would you do that unless you're fake wrestling, you know?
I changed my mind because Axel Rotten and Ian Rotten had a match, and I think in '98 where they broke glass and super glued glass to their knuckles with duct
Kickboxer?
tape, and they just like boxed each other, and were they were all doped up, so they couldn't really feel anything, and that was like, who the hell would ever think of consider doing that? You know what I mean?
That's the
why
dope talking.
That's why ECW was classic, because you had people who wanted to come up and take it seriously, like Benoit and Van Dam and Jericho, but there was just guys who would do anything for money to get drugs, like New Jack. I mean, everything the New Jack does is insane. There's not one match that he had in his life that was boring. He might be the best stunt. He probably is the best stuntman in wrestling history.
I don't know. Jeff Hardy?
No.
Jeff Hardy never killed no one.
No, he said stuntman.
No, I know. I'm just cracking a stupid joke.
How about a weapon that is a classic that doesn't really get used anymore? The ring bell.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that before the show,
I
actually.
love when you can hear it. When you can hear it on TV, like over your TV too, it's awesome.
Yeah, that back in the day, that would be the weapon of choice. They'd always grab that thing and whack.
I remember one time The Rock put on Mankind's head and like hit it with the hammer. Like it was really good.
I like when they use the microphone. You can hear it go. You know when it like echoes, makes that pop sound. If you don't hear the sound, it sucks.
I like the trash can. No one seems to talk about when someone takes a good trash can bump and it flattens. Like that's great.
Yeah, it's good visual. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks when they put it on them. They can't see and they pretend they're a Scooby-Doo character, though.
Yeah. Then they hit him with a chair.
Yeah.
Or like when Shane does his across the ring. That's
coast
a
to
good one.
coast.
Coast to coast. Great trash can.
Rob Van Dam, Van Terminator 2 is awesome too. When you do the spinning back heel kick with the Van
trash
Terminator.
Can.
No, with the chair. Throw you the chair, then you do that spinning kick and kick in the face with it.
Oh yeah, I said you started with the trash can too, but
yeah.
Top five in my in-ring performers of all time, Rob Van Dam.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if I put him top 5, but he has the unorthodox style, so it's the most unique of all time. So like he gets points.
Best high flyer of all time. I don't care if Jeff Hardy won 10 world titles. Rob Van Dam is 5 times better than Jeff Hardy. That's just my opinion.
Fair. It's kind of surprising neither of them won King of the Ring. I kind of wanted to talk about that too. King of the Ring seems so much less valuable than it used to be. But what do you guys think about the pay-per-view as a whole? Like, do you feel like that needs more value to it? Like, it seems like that really went south in the past 20 years.
Wait, they're having a King of the Ring pay-per-view?
No, he's recommending it. Did you like the old ones? He's asking what our opinions were of it, or should they bring it back?
They should always have it. They should always have see, WWE just comes as it goes. They have to have the fans have something to look forward to. Like, oh, the King of the Ring's coming up. Who you think's gonna win that? Oh, the Money in the Bank's coming up. Who do you think's gonna get the briefcase? Who's gonna fight in the Hell in a Cell? It's so predictable. All 3, including Roman.
So Johnny, back to King of the Ring.
Drew picks apart.
No, I appreciate it.
So
I liked it. I thought King of the Ring is to me, it was almost as dope of a concept as the Royal Rumble. Like you kind of have this tournament where the whole tournament gets done in one pay-per-view. And that way you have stories like a face could get hurt in the semifinals. So he has to wrestle the finals hurt and tired. I thought it was a really cool thing personally, but they really just dumbed it down and kind of watered it down over the years.
I love King of the Ring. It should be a pay-per-view. I don't know if it needs to be every year. If the same guy's going to win it 2 years in a row, or he doesn't deserve to lose the King of the Ring title, have it on Raw and have him win it on Raw, But if you're going to have a new one, have it every other year or something like that. AEW does something good. They have a battle royale called for the Diamond diamond ring, something. I forget what it's called. They have a
Oh,
diamond
the brass ring.
Yeah. No, there's a diamond ring. And they had it 3 years now, and MJF won all three. You know, it's like if someone else was going to win, have a pay-per-view and have the diamond paper. I forget the name of it. But if it's going to be insignificant like that, just keep it going, keep it in people's minds. You know, that's the ring MJF puts on his hand and cheats.
I remember Wardlow brought it to him. I remember now. Yeah.
So like if the King of the Ring was solid the last two winners too, Nakamura and King Corbin. But for the last 10 years, it's been terrible since Billy Gunn. I think it died with Billy Gunn when The Rock made him like a jabroni. But,
I will say I thought Booker T brought it back. I liked his King Booker thing.
Yes.
He did with
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Booker T did too.
What do you think, Jim? You've been quiet.
I loved the King of the Ring when it was back in the day. One of the greatest moments in wrestling history happened at King of the Ring, which was, I mean, you know what I'm talking about, when Stone Cold beat Jake the Snake and did his infamous promo.
Austin 316 says, I just whip your ass.
Yeah, that was King of the Ring after he won. And yeah, I thought it was a great springboard for guys who were up and coming. Like the next guy would win it. And I liked it all in one night. Like you guys said, maybe have a qualifier on Raw and SmackDown and then have the final 8 all in one night, or, however you want to do it. And I just think it's cool. Now, I don't really like how they do it. They do it, you have a match one week and it goes on. And it's kind of in the background. Do not like Xavier Woods as the King of the Ring. I mean, I thought it was cool he won, but then I didn't like the way he played it. I thought
Queen of the Ring now.
Yeah, that kind of died though. I thought they picked the wrong person to initiate that with.
I think New Day has to change their gimmick.
But yeah, the King Corbin, I thought, did a great job as, and then another one that I thought probably is underrated, but I thought he was good with it, was Bad News Barrett.
Oh, yeah. He did a good job, too. Sheamus was okay, actually, too.
Yeah, Sheamus was good.
Shame about Sheamus. Speaking of winning stuff, though, I know last time we did a podcast, we talked a lot about the $1 Million title, how we all like that. It's a great-looking title. So maybe excluding that one, what title do you guys not have that you would want to own, just to have on the shelf or whatever?
Now that I have the video game, the WCW titles all look so much better than the WWE titles. They're
the big gold heavyweight.
Even their US belt looked better. Their tag team belts look better. The WWE Winged Eagle belt was beautiful. The AEW belt I love. I love the AEW. All the AEW belts are really good. The WWE belts are just more about the brand and less about the gold, which I hate.
Yeah, just big old W on it.
Yeah. The title I thought looked awesome and was great was the TV title.
Yeah, another WCW.
I love that one. Yeah.
ECW belts are good too.
Honestly, my favorite belt is the Spinny John Cena title.
Really? I would like it if it did. It's pretty belt. I would like if it didn't spin. I see it at conventions now. But it's pretty now. You see, it's all gold. If it stays in place, it's a beautiful belt.
I'm partial to the old school belt in WWF or WWE, like when Hogan had it, and up until Stone Cold. I thought the Skull belt was cool too.
Cool. Yeah, I would personally like the Cruiserweight title. I think that'd be a cool one to have in your gym. You know what I mean? Aaron and I have a gym in our basement. So that'd be a cool one to have on the shelf there. You know what I mean? Be nice motivation on the elliptical or whatever. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, we just had a real good talk about King of the Ring. Obviously, WrestleMania and Royal Rumble are the two, big pay-per-views of the year. I wanted to know what's the third best. It's got to be between Survivor Series and SummerSlam, I'd say. What do you guys think's more valuable? Kevin, it looks like you have a thought about it already. So what do you think?
Money in the Bank is my number 3 pay-per-view by far now.
That is fair to say.
Yeah, Survivor Series is in my bottom 2. I hate it now.
Really?
Yeah, because there's no title matches usually. It's usually Raw versus SmackDown. It's boring to me.
What'd you guys think about the recent one where Undertaker like officially retired though at Survivor Series?
It needed that. It needed 20 minutes of The Undertaker just for me to want to watch it.
Mm.
That's where he debuted, so it made
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with Kev. I don't like Survivor Series either. And I think that SummerSlam is the second best pay-per-view, along with Royal Rumble.
Over WrestleMania?
No. I'm not including WrestleMania.
Okay.
No. I think that is like the summer of WrestleMania. Maybe not in recent years, but I guess I'm thinking back to how big SummerSlam always was. Love the Royal Rumble, and I agree with Kevin. Money in the Bank is definitely in the top 4.
Yeah, it didn't even cross my mind when I wrote that. Yeah, but it is very true. I'd say. What do you think, Jake? Do you agree with all that?
No, I think WrestleMania Backlash. No, I think Royal Rumble's the best pay-per-view. I like it more than WrestleMania because, I won $250 this year off Brock Lesnar, so I was pretty happy. Or $220 or whatever the fuck it, $180, whatever the fuck it was. That was fucking awesome.
That's fair.
I think AEW needs like a themed pay-per-view, like their own Royal Rumble, their own kind of like big battle royale or something. I think they need something like that to stand out a little more. They got all in, all out, double or nothing, full gear, but they're all great cards, but they don't differentiate from each other.
Yeah, because that's the one thing. Because Royal Rumble happens once a year, I feel like it always means a lot. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I meant about like King of the Ring. Like once it just meant less and less. Like Royal Rumble has really stood the test of time.
Yeah, you get excited for it every year too. You can't wait.
Yeah.
Like if you say double or nothing, like I know it's gonna be a good card, but I'm not like, oh, I can't wait to see this so and so match.
Yeah, the double or nothing brawl, or there's nothing like that.
I think they have a casino battle royal on that one, but I'm not sure. I think so.
Well, speaking of AEW, how do you guys feel like they're treating Sting right now? I mean, he's a 62-year-old man. He's mentoring Darby Allin. What do you guys think? What do you think of that whole thing that they're doing with him?
I can start.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Go ahead, Kev.
You guys were quiet, so I didn't want to start. But I love what they're doing with them. I think this is going to help more older guys. Well, this might end up being terrible, but it might end up being awesome. He's doing such a good job now where it's going to motivate other older guys to come out of retirement just to do cinematic matches, hardcore matches. You already see Ric Flair coming out now, which I think is a terrible idea. But I can see a guy like Kurt Angle coming back. I can see other guys at that age coming back and putting on some bangers that we'd love to see that could still go. But in general, my favorite Sting of all time was, believe it or not, in TNA. Speaking of Kurt Angle, him and Kurt Angle ran TNA. It was like some of the best matches ever, those two guys too. And then they fused Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. Those 4 guys put on some classics. Like TNA in that era was very, very underrated. And Bobby Roode was great over there. Just a great era of TNA. I wish they would have blew up from that point.
New Jack, he was in TNA.
He was in the beginning, very, very beginning. And Brian Christopher was too. Brian Christopher
Jeff Jarrett had a hell of a run.
Yeah.
King of the Mountain gimmick in TNA.
I liked him there. He gets a lot of hate because he was forced down people's throats a little too much.
Yeah. What do you think, Jim? What was your thoughts on TNA? Did you watch much of that?
Yeah, I wasn't too into TNA. That era, I didn't watch much of it.
Well, did you guys watch WCW Sting? How would you rate WCW Sting compared to WWE and now current Sting?
It was epic. WCW Sting is epic. I mean, especially when he went, from the original Stinger to like the Crow version. It was pretty badass. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I guess they kind of did that. I don't know. Do you think they did that to match The Undertaker?
That's how it felt when I was a kid.
I actually heard why he did that, if you guys want to know.
Yeah, sure.
Scott Hall recommended to him. He's like, why don't you paint your face like the Crow? And it was Scott Hall's idea. And he's like, yeah, I'll do it. It's like, it wasn't even creatives. Sting put the paint on, and they came up with the idea after the fact. They did the look first. And then I don't know who had the idea of going up the rafters and stuff, but it was genius.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
R.I.P. to the bad guy for coming up with that.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Jake? Were you a big Sting fan at all, ever?
I started watching wrestling like right when the Attitude Era began, and like, you know, I couldn't jump back and forth, you know, like paying attention to all these guys all at once. Like even like fucking Al Snow's hardcore matches were interesting to me. You know, so I just stuck with WWE, and then like, you know, 2 years later I got to watch like last 2 years of ECW, and you know, and then I got some VHSs with them. I'm not trying to go off topic, but
No, I
you
mean,
know, that's my take on it.
not much of a Sting fan. It's fair enough.
No,
Who do you
I
think?
respect him as a wrestler. I really respect him still trying. I mean, obviously, him and Vince don't get along. That's not his fault. But you know, he's a Hall of Famer. He puts, you know, anybody that puts that much effort into any craft of work is, you know, is a good hard worker in my book. You know, I like him, but I don't love him. Just like John Cena. I don't love John Cena. I'm not going to get a John Cena shirt, even though I got a fucking Apollo Crews shirt. But
I love
anyway,
Wakanda Apollo when he first debuted. Or first changed gimmick.
Yeah, because it gave him some kind of character.
It was awesome. They just didn't know how to write it after 3 months.
Yeah, but from what he was before that, like he was like nothing. Like
Yep.
Great wrestler, like awesome in the ring, but character wise, like
It's a shame they're already out of ideas for him. We couldn't
Yeah.
have that's 3 years, 2 years of writing him.
Damn. Speaking of things promotions do when they're out of ideas, they tend to get a lot of celebrities in the mix, and I feel like we've been seeing that more and more frequently. What are some of like the best and worst celebrities we've seen over the years? There's been quite a few. Jim, why don't you start us off? What do you think? Best and or worst celebrities in wrestling?
I think the best, like one that pops into my head would be, well, two actually, the Pete Rose.
Yep.
You know, and then Bob Uecker, always getting tombstoned by Kane.
And yeah.
So those two are probably the two that, when I think about that, pop in my head. But there's been, I mean, tons of. I mean, Trump was even on it and shaved Vince's head.
Fuck that. Favorite. You never. When you're in the presence of the Don, you that's the best experience you'll ever have in your life.
That's the highlight of Vince's career.
We should have that's a good topic for the next show or one in the future, like best celebrity match, like that came in and wrestled a match.
All the celebrities recently have been
right now.
Huh?
All the celebrities recently have been great in ring. Bad Bunny was great. Logan Paul was great. Johnny Knoxville was great. Like it's
Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury. Pat McAfee is like 4 really awesome.
Pat McAfee was really good. I was really impressed with him.
Yeah. And then some of the worst ones was when Jeremy Piven hosted Raw and he didn't even get the SummerSlam name right. He's like, we got Summerfest coming this summer. That's embarrassing. How do you get the
I don't remember that, but that's horrible.
Yeah, he said Summerfest. I think he was there just to hit on Kelly Kelly. Like he went to like the Eagles game with Kelly Kelly afterwards. He definitely smashed.
What about when Umaga destroyed Jack because they didn't understand how to sell a move, and Umaga got really pissed off at Steve-O? You remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like elbowed him in the face for real and shit. Like gave him a concussion.
Yeah.
You know who was the worst? The balls.
Who?
When the mellow, you know, the balls.
Yeah,
the ball.
Yeah.
Like ball, and
Yeah.
whatever. I didn't even see that.
Snooki was bad. Jim, here's one you'd like. You don't like the guy, but Kevin Owens power bombed Machine Gun Kelly through a table off the.
I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
because he loved Kevin Owens. That was cool.
Yeah.
I wish he would do it in a table full of dynamite next time.
And how does the Machine Gun Kelly get freaking Megan Fox? That blows my
Just
mind.
have a huge machine on.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather was good. Floyd Mayweather was good. Mike Tyson was great.
I
Mike
was
Tyson's
just
like
gonna
the
say,
best
I
of
can't
all
believe
time.
no one brought up Mike Tyson. I mean, that was pretty iconic.
You're right.
Him
That
versus,
was really good there. I didn't even think about that one.
Which one,
Stone
Floyd or
Cold versus
Tyson?
Shawn Michaels.
Tyson.
Yeah.
But do you know that Floyd like really broke Big Show's nose, and Big Show
Yeah.
like really wanted to kill him? Like,
I didn't know that.
yeah, like I saw a clip of it today, like looking through some stuff and see Big Show like lose his freaking mind.
I heard Big Show told him to really do it, but I don't think he expected it. to hurt
Yeah,
that
I
bad.
don't think he meant for him to break his nose, but yeah.
Is the Big Show still even wrestling? I actually don't know right now.
AEW, right?
Yeah, he hasn't done a match in a while, but he's still over there.
I'm waiting
And
for
they
him to
did-
become a.
Billy and Chuck.
They did buy the Captain Insano name, so it's going to happen.
I'm waiting for it.
What about Billy and Chuck reunite?
That was awesome. I would love for that to happen again. That was a great team. And get Rico.
So
Good to me.
I just remember watching them and being like, I wish it was Billy and Road Dogg, you know?
Yeah. That got like national exposure though. That was a good team.
Fair.
Chuck was the best, most over Chuck Palumbo was, unfortunately for him.
yeah,
Chucky.
he was like Sean Stasiak
Meat.
before that.
Yeah. That's all the celebrities I can think of. I'm sure there was 1,000 more I'm not thinking of, but it's like
Kevin Federline, you guys remember John Cena giving Kevin Federline the attitude adjustment? They had like a rap battle.
that was he was good for what he was there for.
Yeah.
Or Jon Stewart.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
Snoop Dogg was terrible on AEW. He did the worst elbow drop I've ever saw in my life.
No, it was a fucking frog splash. But yeah, he
Was it? Yeah.
landed on his feet and then like it was horrible.
Yeah, that was terrible.
You guys remember when Drew Carey was in the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, I didn't like that. It's funny that he jumped out.
Funny.
It's funny that he jumped out.
Yeah, when Kane came, he was so scared he just jumped out over the top rope.
Yeah, that was funny.
Remember the Rodman and
Oh
Karl
yeah,
Malone feud and
Oh yeah, Rodman was part of the NWO.
and
Jay Leno
Karl-
fought with Hulk Hogan too against Rodman and somebody. If it was Rodman and Bischoff or Rodman and Hogan against Jay Leno and DDP. DDP, that's right.
and then it was Karl Malone and DDP, right? It was Karl Malone and DDP.
Was that the same? That wasn't the same match. That wasn't the Jay Leno match. I was talking about the Jay Leno match.
Yeah, but there was a different.
Yeah,
with
Karl
Rod-
Malone against
Yeah,
Malone and DDP against Hogan and Rodman.
yeah.
I was actually I was entertained. I'd have to watch it and say if it was a good match. I doubt it was good, but I was entertained.
I had a question for Jake, if I may. We didn't really talk too much about Edge, but I know Jake, you're not a big Edge fan, and I personally am. I just always wondered why. What is it you don't like about Edge?
I like Edge. It's just to me, he's at the wrong place at the wrong time. Like there's like when he's at the top of his level, everybody else is like mediocre, and it makes him look like a mediocre champion, which I don't think falls upon him. But like to me, like growing up in the Attitude Era, Edge was always like the mid-carder, like perfect Intercontinental Champion. Was really good, but not as good as Chris Jericho. But you know, like I thought it was cool, like when he won the world title with the world tag titles with Hulk Hogan. Sometimes I feel like in his promos he kind of over exaggerates his temperament, and I mean, I really do like Edge, but like, I don't love Edge. I'm not an Edge head. Like I
What
don't see Edge beating Brock Lesnar at all, ever.
what
I don't see
about
anybody being Brock Lesnar though.
nobody can realistically
Braun
beat Brock
Strowman,
Lesnar.
maybe.
What about Ruthless Aggression Edge, Rated R Superstar? That was some great stuff. That was some of the best stuff ever.
Bang lead on TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good, but that feud lasted so long that I quit on wrestling for about 6 years because that feud went on for like half a year, and I was just like, I was like, for real? Like,
You mean the
even
him
though,
and
like,
Cena feud, right?
what?
Or him and Matt Hardy.
Him and Cena or him and Matt? Which feud? Which feud? Him and Cena.
Him and Cena, that feud lasted for like, like almost a period of two. Like, remember when they were feuding and then John Cena got hurt, right? And then he came back at the Royal Rumble. He won that, and then he was feuding with Edge for like another half a year. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! I mean, how many feuds between Edge and John Cena are we gonna see? And then then I kind of got back into wrestling when CM Punk dropped that pipe bomb, and then after that WrestleMania with Undertaker, I don't think I started watching wrestling again until like I started hanging out with Kevin, for the first time. I guess like I don't know, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I guess what's it 2000? I guess like 7 years, 7 years ago. So I mean, I've been, when I was reintroduced to it, I loved all the indie guys that I knew from like CDW, who like fighting for the world title, like Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens and shit. But now it's too like commercialized, and they base it off of politics, and it's all about money. Like, I had no problem with Big E becoming a world title. The problem I have is that Big E is the world champion and he makes $235,000 a year, while Brock Lesnar makes $5 million, like $12 million a year. So why should I feel that he's a champion if he's not even really the champ? He's just I mean, that's disrespectful, I think.
They don't talk about his salary on TV though, so we don't know how much he makes.
Yeah.
It's news to me.
What does the salary have to do with it? I mean, Brock Lesnar is in a league of his own. I mean, he's going to make that money because he's a draw. They're trying to push Big E to be a bigger star, which I thought he wasn't ready to carry the show, but that's what they were trying to do.
He's too short to be a world champion.
He's too short.
He's 5'10".
Finn Balor was a world champion. AJ Styles is a world champion.
Anyone?
Rey Mysterio.
AJ Styles.
Big E's probably taller than like Shawn Michaels.
And Big E's huge. He's like a power lifter.
I agree that I don't think Big E was ready for the belt. Finn Balor and AJ were, I think. They just messed up.
Well, I was just saying because he said about height. And Shawn Michaels, I don't think height has to do anything.
If they had a follow-up story for him after he won the title, I might have thought differently, but he just won and it was a great feel-good moment. They did nothing with him, and it just made him feel inferior.
Exactly, and I think they do that with a lot of guys.
They have no plan. They just want to see the crowd pop and don't.
They get the pop of the winning, and then just like with Kofi.
I can't believe we had all that talk about Edge, and none of you guys even mentioned Edge and Christian's tag team run. I thought during that time, I mean, they were great. And Jake even said you kind of liked Edge more in the mid card. I know he was for sure tag team champ while you were watching in the Attitude Era.
Oh, yeah,
what you think about that?
I always rooted for the Dudley Boys. The Dudley Boys are my all-time favorite tag team, hands down.
That was the best era of tag team wrestling, hands down.
Oh, yeah, the TLC era, you pretty much call it.
Mhm.
I think Christian's the reason why I started watching TNA, to be honest. When he went to TNA, I loved Edge and Christian, and that's I think what got me into like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, and them guys too. Seeing Christian jump ship over there and Kurt Angle and Sting. I love Christian. He sucks in AEW right now, though. So I think that's why I didn't bring him up. He was actually doing better when he returned in the Rumble 2 years ago, and he was feuding Randy Orton. Even though he was going to lose the feud, it was much better than him just being Jungle Boy's hype boy and not wrestling ever. So I think that's why I didn't bring up Edge and Christian. I'm kind of like, oh, why'd you make that move, dude? You kind of suck right now.
Bro. I thought they did some great work. I mean, the concerto and everything.
Oh yeah, I love them. They're the 5-second pose for flash photography.
Yeah, that was great.
They're geniuses. Edge and Christian's show on the network I love too. Edge and Christian's awesome show.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw that. It's probably good.
I don't know if it's still on there because he left, but it was hilarious. It's like SNL, but all wrestling jokes.
Nice. Cool. Jim, I know you talked about the Nation earlier. I always found it weird there was never like a Rock versus Mark Henry that happened years later, and they would reference it, or the Rock versus Farouk. Like I know there was some like racial stuff with them, so maybe WWE kind of doesn't want to touch it. But what do you guys think about that with the Nation? How come that's like never got mentioned again?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. It probably could have been a few good stories in there with that. I think right after, if I remember right, didn't The Rock took over the Nation and kicked Farouk out, right? And that was a feud for a little bit there.
For a very little bit. But I just mean like years after the fact, it was like Mark Henry was sexual chocolate, Farouk was part of the APA, and then The Rock was just like on top of the mountain. Like it was kind of a shame Farouk or Mark Henry didn't get a push, and that could have been like revisited and kind of meant something for the older fans.
I think just at the time they had too many guys and those guys were just mid-card guys.
Well, so The Rock got too big for his britches. Like, who's going to believe Mark Henry or Farouk would beat The Rock at this point,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like mid-card guys. Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to do a Godfather and Val Venus versus Mark Henry and Farouk, that could have definitely got over. Something like that. Push one of the guys.
I just thought of Owen Hart was in the Nation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Black Heart, baby.
I am not a nugget. I am not a nugget.
He was good, man. I liked him.
He was great.
Yeah.
But he sabotaged Stone Cold's career.
I don't think it's intentional, but it still sucks.
Yeah, it did suck. I hated him back then for that, but he was good, definitely good. It
was intentional, and I think a lot of Canadian wrestlers take wrestling extremely too seriously.
Well, Stone Cold was a respected guy back then. He wasn't like known for being an asshole or anything. So I don't know why I could see him do that to Shawn Michaels back then, but not stunning Steve Austin. He was just newly Stone Cold.
You thought he did it because Stone Cold was getting too big and going to take Bret's spot?
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think Shawn Michaels was the guy at that point.
Yeah, they would have done to Shawn, not Bret, if it was going to be intentional. They fought Shawn all the time too.
Well, they already knew Shawn was off the rails because he was doing all these drugs and shit.
Well, if you break his neck, he'll, then you're going to worry about it.
Kill two birds with one stone, for the sake of their family. It's just like the problem that I think like Owen Hart, Bret Hart, Stu Hart, and a lot of Canadian wrestlers, they like wrestling like without the storylines or the promos. They just want a tough, like Daniel Bryan type of technical match, and that's their shit. Like that's what they live and breathe for. But the fans don't always want that, and sometimes wrestlers like them. Wrestlers aren't really like this anymore. But back then they were. They were really like, very what's the word? Critical about the production and how everything was written, and just you gotta like if you're getting paid all that money, just say your lines, play your fucking character, do your match. If you lose, you lose. You win, you win. You still get your paycheck. But there's just too much egos in wrestling.
I think if Jake, if someone cries about if they want to use their real name and Vince doesn't want them to be the real name, you're a mark for yourself and you take it too serious. All these guys like Keith Lee, like, oh my God, he's calling me Bearcat. Like just you're a character. Play a character, dude.
Yeah, it's an entertainment show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think The Rock got so famous?
Because he's the most charismatic guy playing a character. He's playing like himself, but on steroids.
Just speaking of The Rock, I wanted to mention this earlier. Are any of you guys watching The Young Rock?
No.
I would like to. I saw the trailer.
You need to watch it because it's going through his career and stuff. It just started. The second season just ended, and he just got into the WWE and did the Rocky Maivia, and he's explaining why he didn't even want to be Rocky Maivia. He wanted to be his own Flex Cabana. But it's pretty cool. You should check it out. I
definitely will. I saw the
trailer.
It
tells a lot of it's like a comedy thing, but it also tells, I'm pretty sure it's his real story about what was going on, behind the scenes.
I did see, I think it was TikTok or something. I saw a clip of the show, and it basically teases The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that clip too.
Yeah, they had a little kid with him, and it like Paul said this. The kid said, "Acknowledge me," in the show, and he said, "This is my cousin, Joe, who is as." It was pretty cool.
And he says a match between us would only be good enough for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And The Rock doesn't have any movies scheduled for the first quarter of 2023.
I've been waiting for this since Roman went heel with the tribal chief thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is leading to The Rock.
The whole head of the table, yeah.
It's definitely leading to The Rock.
If it wasn't for COVID, I think it would have happened like a year and a half ago or something.
Yeah, all of it might have happened last year.
The Rock movies.
Hey, Jake, just random question. I know you're a big ECW guy. What are your immediate thoughts on the Sandman? Kevin and I actually got to meet him before. But what are your thoughts on him?
I think he's a character. Like, I don't he was very sloppy in the ring. I thought his gimmick was the coolest fucking shit ever because he was just he was a junkie. So I thought that was fucking cool and everyone loved him.
It's the dream. Be the lovable junkie.
he was the lovable junkie. I'm sure he's a dick when you guys met him.
$20, kid.
Yeah, that's 7 minutes left.
Okay, sorry.
All right. So
he certainly wasn't a dick, but he was like the most what I thought of as a wrestler. Like, Kevin and I went up to him and we're like, hey, how you doing? We'd love a picture with you. And he's like, oh, $20, kid. He felt like how I thought all the wrestlers were going to act. Most wrestlers, 9 out of 10, are actually like fucking sweethearts and like almost surprisingly nice. But the Sandman kind of gave us the treatment I expected. But
yeah,
they know their fans are their bread and butter. You don't have a career if you don't have fans.
He didn't say $20. He didn't say $20 in his head. He said, "All right, give me a perk 10. Give me a bag of Coke. Give me a bottle of vodka." Well, he does everything under the sun.
So Kev, who trying to think I haven't heard any of your dollar winners lately.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys my top 10 for the year right now. So for the people out there that don't know how the Dollar Club got started, is I used to just watch every show and post in forums who I thought the hottest girl was, and I'd say I'd buy that for $1, and I'd give her $1, and I actually kept stats. Last year, Mandy Rose won with $15.
That's a genius gimmick, by the way. You can't. That's pretty. That's
Thank you.
Good one.
Thank you. So I try to watch every show, and if I can, I usually pick someone to pick the $1 winner for each show too. Sometimes it's these guys, sometimes it's guys just in random forums. But I'll share the top 10 for the year so far this year. And you guys tell me what you think about these people. In 10th place, tied for 10th place, we have Zelina Vega, Queen Zelina, with $3 for the year. What do you guys think about Zelina? Think she's a sexy piece?
She's sexy.
Yeah.
She's good looking.
Good looking girl. Definitely want to put her last. I saw the whole list.
Well, there's people under her. She's in the top 10, you know?
Oh, well, yeah, obviously. But we'll get there. There's I know number 7 needs to show more skin.
Well, tied with Zelina Vega, we have Jade Cargill, $3 in AW. You guys like Jade?
I love her in ring. She's maybe not too smashable in my mind, only because I feel like she would break my neck. She is so jacked and so impressively athletic.
I'd smash her.
She's almost like not sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but very athletic. Love her matches. She's for sure the best female wrestler in AEW, hands down, in my opinion, as far as in-ring ability.
Another girl, $3. You guys probably don't know yet. She's my new one of my new current favorites in NXT. Tiffany Stratton, Daddy's girl, Tiffany Stratton. You guys know her? What do you think about her?
I don't know.
$3. She's hot. I posted on our TikTok today. Check it out.
I don't know her either.
I like her gimmick. She's like the daddy's girl. Like she has daddy's credit card and she plays a heel.
Yeah, she's like a white Kim Kardashian. She's like a white Kardashian, pretty much. / Mean Girls. 7th place, we have Rhea Ripley with $4.
She's hot. Needs to show more skin.
I think.
Jake, you like Rhea? Yeah. Jake, you like Rhea?
He's frozen.
Yeah, but she's getting a little more butchier as days go on.
Tied with Rhea Ripley in 6th place is Julia Hart. I think she's so much sexier with the eye patch on AEW. Brian Pillman's manager.
Oh, I saw her last night. Yeah, she's not bad looking.
Then Carmella is also tied at 5th place with $4.
Oh, yeah.
Carmella's hot. She wears like nothing.
Wait a second. I'm looking at this Tiffany Stratton, and you have her what number?
Well, because she just debuted 2 months ago. She didn't have many opportunities to win $. And she's beautiful.
Okay.
Nikita Lyons would be higher too, but she's got a lot of competition. Britt Baker also has $4. You guys like Britt?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, she's cute.
I met her. She's hotter in person too, dude. She was beautiful. 3rd place is Jamie Hayter. Did you go with the Rey Mysterio ass? She has Rey Mysterio's ass on her tights.
She looks good for me, brother.
Amazing ass.
She's my number 1.
No, Jamie Hayter?
Oh yeah, by far.
We're gonna meet her at Icons of Wrestling, hopefully. 2nd place, Liv Morgan with $6. What do you guys think of Liv?
I think that's too high for her.
You think?
What?
Yeah. Jamie Hayter's better than her.
I don't always watch AEW though, so I
Liv Morgan, yeah, I think she's hot, but I don't think she's number 2.
Yeah, but she's well up. It's not who I think. It's like I'll watch.
How many dollars? Okay, I got you. How many dollars? Okay.
Yeah, so like I mean I've seen every show. If you're sure, like I watched TNA Impact sometimes too, but I can't. It's terrible. I can't get through the show, so I'll turn it off.
Okay,
like Chelsea Green is $2, but I can't make it through the show. 1st place. She's leading the year for the 2nd year in a row. Mandy Rose.
Buy that for $1.
Might be our dollar queen for life.
You just give her dollars for. I mean, she is hot, but
that is the most the toughest show to pick. You got Cora Jade, Tiff Stratton, Nikita Lyons, Sophia Cromwell. It's a Gigi Dolan. That's the NXT is the hottest show, the hottest girls by far on Tuesday nights, guys. It's tough to pick, but I always want to pick somebody else. I'm like, I can't go against Mandy. Look at her.
She puts the X in NXT, baby.
Nikita Lyons is the best nickname, though. The Iron Cheeks. That's the best nickname ever. What's up, Jake?
Sunny Kiss.
He's not on TV anymore. I think he got fired.
Why?
They just didn't re-sign him. So Jake gives his daughter the Sunny Kiss.
What?
Yeah, but guys, check out NXT, and so far Our dollar queen of 2022 is Mandy Rose. She's trying to make it a repeat for years in a row. Good luck, Mandy. You got this. All right, guys. You can find me at Panetta Sexy Time on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. You can follow our wrestling page. That's for all of us, including Shadow Pat at Dollar Club Wrestling on TikTok. Also, please buy some shirts. Rock Hard Jim Preddy's got a new shirt debuting next week. I have a bunch of shirts. The Dollar King. Help us buy more equipment. Support my professional wrestling journey. I did a match. I have another thing coming up in July. I got a lot more coming. Wrestling school is expensive. Dong Skipper down there has got some awesome shirts as well. ProWrestlingTees.com backslash. I do floor tiling for a living, so I always say backslash. It's just a habit. That is Sexy Time. You can also just search on there for Dollar Club Wrestling and buy some shirts. We have a YouTube show too at Dollar Club Wrestling. Jim is our champion. We do promos against each other. We have a couple matches on there too. We have a match we're filming soon. You get to see Rock Hard Jim Prenny against the Dollar King. It's going to be a pretty hardcore match. There's a rumor going around. So check that out too. Please like and subscribe. Jim, how do people find you? Anything you want to plug?
At Jim Prendy 54 on pretty much all social media. Facebook, Jimmy Prendergast Jr. Check out our YouTube pages. We got Dollar Club Entertainment podcast that we do, the non-wrestling podcast, and Dollar Club Wrestling. It's a lot of content there. If you enjoy it, please consider subscribing. Help us out. Like the videos. A lot of good stuff there. That's all I got. And by the way, I forgot to mention to you, I have a trampoline.
Nice.
Oh, party boys.
I mean, for our match.
I'll bring it.
I can't bring it. How big it is? It's a big one.
How'd they get it to your house?
I put it together.
Take it apart.
Get out of here. Doing that.
I don't need no stage trampoline.
Johnny, what do you got, Johnny?
All I know is I don't mean to boast, but tonight I was the host with the most. Search Dollar Club Wrestling at ProWrestlingTees.com, or I'm going to show up to your house and fuck your mom. It's the Bong Ripper, the notoriously bad Skipper. Dong Skipper!
Yeah, out.
I'd buy that for $1. I'd buy that for $1.